Imagine a land with no banks, no factories, and very few coins of its own. Most roads were little more than muddy tracks. Travel was slow. Forests covered enormous distances. Yet powerful rulers raised armies, merchants crossed continents, and cities such as Kiev and Novgorod became wealthy. So where did the money come from? The answer was moving through the landscape all along. It was in the rivers. More than 1,000 years ago, the world of Kievan Rus was not a modern country with fixed borders. It was a growing network of towns, rivers, farming communities, traders, warriors, and territories ruled by princes. Its lands covered parts of what are now Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. And its greatest economic advantage was geography. In early medieval Eastern Europe, rivers were the highways. A boat could carry far more than a horse. It could move heavy cargo across huge distances. Rivers connected the forests of the north with the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, Constantinople, and the wealthy markets of the Islamic world. One route followed the Dnieper south toward the Black Sea and Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Another used the Volga to reach the Caspian Sea and markets connected to the Islamic caliphates. Northern waterways led toward the Baltic and Scandinavia. Rus sat between these worlds. That position created an opportunity. The northern forests contained products that distant buyers wanted. Hunters supplied valuable furs. Beekeepers produced honey and wax. Traders also carried timber, amber, and other local goods. There was a darker part of this trade as well. Captured people were sold into slavery. The exact size of this trade is still debated, but written sources and archaeological research show that human beings were among the commodities moving through the network. In return, merchants brought back luxury goods that were difficult or impossible to produce locally. Silk, wine, glass, jewelry, weapons, and spices. But one imported product was especially important: silver. Large numbers of Islamic silver coins, called dirhams, traveled north through the trade routes. Archaeologists have found them in hoards across Eastern and Northern Europe. Some were kept as coins. Some became jewelry. Many were cut into pieces and valued by weight. The writing stamped on a coin mattered less than the silver inside it. This is why small scales and metal weights were essential tools for a merchant. A deal could be measured, not simply counted. Half a coin was not useless. It was still half a piece of silver. But foreign merchants did not make Rus rich by themselves. Someone had to control the route. That was where the princes and their armed followers entered the story. Early rulers depended heavily on tribute. Instead of collecting modern taxes and money, a prince and his warriors received valuable goods from communities under their control. These payments could include furs, wax, honey, food, silver, and other products. During the winter, rulers and their followers could travel through the territories connected to them, collecting what was owed. When the warmer months returned, many of those goods could be moved toward major markets and exchanged for silver or luxury products. In simple terms, the prince controlled a chain. Villages produced goods. Local communities paid tribute. Armed men collected and protected it. Merchants carried it along the rivers. Foreign buyers supplied silver and valuable imports. The ruler stood near the center of this system. Control of trade meant more than charging a fee. River travel was dangerous. Boats had to cross rapids. In some places, cargo and vessels had to be dragged over land from one river to another. Travelers faced storms, robbery, and attacks. Protection had value. But protection and extortion could look very similar. A prince might defend merchants from raiders while also demanding payment for passage. Tribute could unite territories, but it could also be taken by force. This is one of the central stories of early Rus. Economic power and military power grew together. Money, power, mistakes. As trade increased, settlements along the rivers became more important. Ladoga connected northern routes. Novgorod grew around trade and craft production. Smolensk and the nearby settlement of Gnezdovo stood close to important waterways. Kiev occupied a powerful position on the Dnieper, above the long journey toward the Black Sea. These places were not rich simply because they existed beside water. They became rich because people gathered there. Merchants needed markets. Warriors needed supplies. Boats needed repair. Travelers needed food and shelter. Craftsmen worked with metal, leather, wood, glass, and bone.